One thing NFL coaches can't stand, and let's be honest, fans as well, they can't stand turnovers. Watching a quarterback throw an interception is gut-wrenching. It's awful, especially when you see the corner jump the route, get the pick, or heaven forbid it's a defensive end that drops into coverage, somehow gets the pick, and is barely moving down the field, finally getting tackled. It just kills you inside, just a little bit. But even worse than that is when you have a running back that's tried and true, you hand it off to time and time again, and they cough up the ball. And we know as Patriots fans, Rhamondre Stevenson struggled mightily at the beginning of the year, having 4 lost fumbles to start off the year. It was awful. But I'm telling you, coming in for the New England Patriots, this coach is going to be a game changer. So let's jump into it. My name is Aaron. You guys know on the daily pushing out Patriots content for people just like you who can't get enough. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below. First question, here we go. Next year, Rhamondre Stevenson, and I asked this earlier this year, and we'll jump into it a little bit too. Rhamondre Stevenson, is he going to be over or under 7.5 touchdowns? This year he scored 7. We'll jump into it. We'll talk about that just a little later, what our over-under was. Comment below. Tell me what you think. I know it's way too soon, but I just want to hear it. It's always fun. So that being said, we're going to jump right into it. We're talking coaches, ladies and gentlemen, specifically Tony Dews. Tony Dews, coming from the New York Jets as the running back coach, inserted for the New England Patriots earlier this week on Wednesday as the New England Patriots' new running back coach under Mike Vrabel. Now, as you can look at this list right here, here are the current openings. You still have wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, offensive assistant. If you've seen this one, we haven't talked about him, and maybe we'll do this in a later video, but Riley Larkin, he actually was an offensive assistant and an analyst for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and apparently was a big asset to their quarterback room. So that's very interesting bringing him in, especially when you have someone like Ashton Grant, that, again, has not been a positional coach, coming in, knowing Vrabel from the Browns. So just interesting to see. Terrell Williams, obviously, we've talked about him, and others we will talk about down the road at the bottom of the list who are to be determined. Now, today, who I want to focus on, Tony Dews. Now, Tony coached with, this isn't going to surprise anyone, coached with Mike Vrabel down in Tennessee. This is going to make you feel really good, though, too, because this makes his resume look very nice. He was the running back coach for the 2 All-Pro, the 2 times Derrick Henry was All-Pro in the 5 years that Dews held the position, the coaching position. There we go. Aaron, golly, you're struggling this Sunday. But that being said, he had 3 Pro Bowls as well as an Offensive Player of the Year award. And so that looks very nice on Tony Dews' resume. But I think one thing that I'm most excited for coming out of Tony Dews isn't necessarily the fact that he has a great resume. Again, you look at the Jets. The Jets this year, rushing-wise, it wasn't ideal. But Breece Hall, he has helped become a great quarterback, as well as Allen there, who's kind of their second tier or second string running back. But as well, when you look back at Derrick Henry, obviously the years he had, Dion Lewis as well, he has done a great job with the running backs he's had. Now, obviously, it helps when you have Derrick Henry, who is a future Hall of Famer. We'll get in right away. But the other thing that I think is great is he has an infectious personality. So Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay's current head coach, the Packers, everyone hates him, you know him. But Matt LaFleur, he came out and said, he's got such an infectious personality and brings a lot of life, not only to your staff, but to your team. I thought he created an amazing culture. That is key right there. That's huge in that running back room in our time together in Tennessee. So if you remember, LaFleur was the offensive coordinator for Tennessee at that time, obviously now becoming a head coach. And as well, Derrick Henry also commented on LaFleur at some point. He said, you never arrive. I feel like that's his mindset. Never complacent, always staying hungry and coming out here with a growth mindset. Another key thing, growth mindset and wanting to get better. So 2 things right there you got to jump on is the fact that he creates an amazing culture, which let's talk about again. Let's bring back in Rhamondre Stevenson, 4 fumbles at the beginning of the year. just devastating. You get someone like Tony Dews in there, man, that guy's going to breathe life into him. Hopefully lifting him up. Him, Antonio Gibson, Hasty, who the heck knows is going to be number 3. But that being said, I think creating a good culture, especially in a rebuild, is going to be huge for this running back room. Again, even bringing in life and encouragement, and hopefully encouraging these guys behind an offensive line that looks significantly better from the previous year. But also, too, this idea of he is always in a growth mindset, always wanting to grow, always wanting more, always wanting to get better. That is what you want in a coach. You never settle. You never get there and just say, oh, it is what it is. Is what it is. Because when you get to that point, you shouldn't be a coach anymore. Because, again, it's you should always be learning, you should always be growing, you should always be getting better. As a human being in general, you're like, Aaron, I'm going to run through a wall for you for this speech. But it's real. If I'm living a life where it's just I want to stay the status quo, then what's the point? Get better at what you do. Try to grow daily basis. Create a good culture. But you look at this for Tony Dews, and I think these are the type of guys you want to help rebuild a franchise, an organization. And so, especially too, when I saw this and I started reading this, my first thought was Rhamondre Stevenson. Man, he had a tough year last year. And last year, when we talk about over under 7.5, that was our over under, and he hit 7 touchdowns. So he had his times. Antonio Gibson started a game before. It was just, he has the potential. You know it. I know it. Is he frustrating when he fumbles the ball? Absolutely, anyone is. But when it comes down to it, I think it's Dews coming in and being able to build his confidence up and show him, hey, you can be a top 10, top 5. He truly can. I think he can be a top 10, top 5 running back in the league. But the question is, does he want to rise to that occasion? I know the answer is yes. But it's having a coach like this that pulls it out of him. So comment below. What do you think about Tony Dews? What do you think about Mike Vrabel taking him on? Are you optimistic? What are your thoughts on him? Comment below. Let's hear from you. Next, Terrell Williams. We know he's been hired as the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. Now, what was interesting is, there was Sala was out there. There was other D coordinators out there that potentially could have been hired by the Patriots. Now, Terrell Williams was the run game coordinator and defensive line coach at the Lions, as we've talked about, was not a defensive coordinator. But what I love to hear from Vrabel, what he said on WBZ was, he says about Williams, he was on our coaching staff for 6 years, talking about at Tennessee, and was a vital contributor to the success there. I've seen him meet and visit and have a connection with offensive linemen, which is cool. So much so, guys, I'm struggling this Sunday. So much so, I was excited to make him the interim head coach for a preseason game. He had earned the opportunity, and I thought it was something that was important for me to do, to reward those coaches that have earned the right. That is something he had earned, just like he had earned his opportunity to be the defensive coordinator. I think that's awesome. He sees something in Williams going above and beyond, kind of like we're talking about with Dews, going above and beyond. So you look at that, and it's awesome that Vrabel has this opportunity to give Williams, hey, I know under me you were never my defensive coordinator, but I want to give you that opportunity. So I just think that's awesome to see out of Vrabel as well as Williams. Oh, last but not least, sorry, this ties in. I meant to bring this in with talking about Tony Dews and the rushing attack. But if you look down here, Rhamondre Stevenson, 801 yards, 7 touchdowns. Antonio Gibson, he had some games and some opportunities where he was carrying the ball, where I think he proved, hey, I'm worthy, 1, obviously, to be on an NFL roster, but 2, to get some carries and touches. If you jump to the 2023 regular season, if it's going to do that for me, perfect. You see, obviously, we talk And obviously there was issues this year, and it was Ezekiel Elliott was getting a bulk of the carries at a point, obviously. But Rhamondre Stevenson, 619. But then you look down to, I believe it's 2021. No, that wasn't the season. I think it's 2022. Boom, 2022. So he eclipses 1,000 yards. But again, you look at these offenses, and they weren't anything to write home about. So the big question is, too, can the Patriots get an offense going that is going to help, one, open up the run game, and as well, make this offense flow a little better. You watched it this year, and there were so many times it almost killed me at times, but in legit run situations, when they would get stuffed on a fourth down or whatever it might be, or the amount of times they would be in the red zone and then could not convert. And I feel like a big reason again was they couldn't establish a run game. So what the heck is the defense going to do? Well, the defense knows, hey, we're going to send the house, and then we're just going to cover, and we know that we can cover these wide receivers, and we know this offensive line is booty. So when it comes down to it, obviously we got to get the offensive line fixed. But two, we got to get a run game going. It helps open up everything. So that being said, what do you guys think? Comment below. Would love to hear from you guys. Hit that subscribe button on your way out, wherever heck it is. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. I think it's down there. But hit it. We'll talk later. We'll see you tomorrow, I guess, technically. My name's Aaron. We'll talk later. Peace.